All right, lots of exciting stuff happening this week. So typically towards the middle of my work week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm pretty beat, but the cars are special enough this week. I figure, yeah, I'm gonna miss out on the opportunity to film, and then these two guys might not be here tomorrow. So yeah, why don't we take a walk and see what I got here this week. All right, so yeah, real deal. Mark IV Supra, twin turbo, 6-speed. You can see it's got the Targa top. I was really nervous when this customer first contacted me for work because I was expecting the car to be equally as modified as the Fast and Furious era spec seats. But yeah, shockingly, this thing is very, very stock and very, very well maintained. Isn't that right, Dexter? I think it's missing some of the turbo badges. But yeah, you guys who have followed me know that I used to have a Mark IV. So this one's a 93, mine was a 95. Mine was also a NA 5-speed hardtop. When I had mine, I kind of really wanted these wheels. The turbo wheels are an inch wider, and then an inch larger in diameter, so 17/8. The infamous TT brakes that end up going on somebody's drift car. The infamous Dexter. Yeah, this car, I gotta keep a little bit of confidentiality, but we'll take a little bit of a walk around. Did some relatively extensive work on this thing. If any car, well, every car in the shop gets seat covers and floor mats, but if there was a car that really deserved one, it's probably this guy. Yeah, a really Spartan interior for Toyota's flagship supercar, but some of it's different. I don't think mine had a traction control button, and then there was at least like 3 cigarette lighters here, I think. And then I think, yeah, there's probably well, mine had an ashtray and a cigarette lighter in this thing too. All right, yeah, and then fun fact about these vents. So they kind of based this wraparound cockpit as like a fighter jet. And then that theme carries to these climate vents where they like turn to open and close like a fighter jet, right? I bet you guys want to see under the hood, so do I. So yeah, 2 hood latches on this guy. Ooh. And yeah, like I said, really, really stock, which is absolutely amazing. Cannot believe it. You know, this time capsule stood the test of time, and how many little kids' dreams. Yeah, twin turbo. Got the 2 turbos here. They're sequential, so one of them will feed a larger turbo. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure it cools something. You can see this guy probably scoops air and diverts it down to cool something down there. Yeah, even the factory airbox and scoop, can't believe it. And then here's those 2 hood catches I was talking about. All right, so yeah, guys, sorry, I gotta keep a little bit of confidentiality on this thing, but luckily I got one more cool car I can talk about. This one. All right, so real deal. Imported from Japan, right-hand drive Levin. All right, yeah, as usual, the name of the game is an extensive amount of headache and heartache inducing work. And the car's here for a while, but also, as usual, for the work I do, it's worth it in the end. So yeah, why don't we take a look and recap. So the backstory on this engine, RS Yasu in Japan built this engine, so I know for a long time the owner Phil, you can follow him on Instagram as then Phil says. So I know he's wanted the matching ISM valve covers since he's at least been here stateside. Yeah, even got the oil cap to match. I know after he takes delivery of the car, he wants to convert this to the small port cover so that you can hide all the plug wires. But yeah, one of the rarest 4A valve covers. I never thought I'd see these in real life. I've only seen them on the forums, Club 4AG. This NGK holder is pretty trick. I really like this piece. We got him a lot of stuff from Battle Garage too. So Knobby Booth, distributor heat shield, all this hardware for the exhaust manifolds, brand new from Battle Garage. Phil sourced this classic FGK header for me to install. You can kind of see it. I'll lift up the car, but I made a brace by request to brace up this header against the block. So full like 100K service. Timing belt tensioner, water pump, idler, timing belt tensioner, spring. Phil got a HKS classic cam gears. Got these bolts all painted. HKS timing belt. We got the rear timing cover and also the center spark plug cover powder coated. All this hardware. So even the rear timing cover bolts and all this is factory brand new OEM Toyota. Yeah, you can see how shiny that guy is right there. And then same thing, the valve cover nuts are brand new OEM Toyota. Yeah, also got some Samco coolant hose kit for a right-hand drive car. Also this heater valve's new, so yeah, right-hand drive, left-hand drive. The heater lines are different. Alright, so those with a keen eye, you probably saw I abruptly stopped filming. I saw a little bit of oil film inside this guy, and then I shit my pants a little bit, so. Yeah, there was a little bit of oil film in that clear timing cover, enough to bother me. So just one more look around. It doesn't seem like the crank seal's leaking. I took a plug wire out and made sure the cap was tight. Looked inside here. Doesn't look like I messed up anything with the valve covers. So is it possible I cocked one of these seals? Yeah, it's possible. Or, you know, I damaged it driving it in. So my gut says either one of these cam seals is cocked and seeping out a little bit, or I guess leaking at this point, or the best case scenario, it's like residual oil from somewhere. So I'm gonna road test this again. I'm really hoping it's just residual. Otherwise I'm gonna pull these cam gears back off, see what the seals look like. Yeah, so that's the fun of roll of life. You do your best and then like stuff happens, but yeah, all part of it. All right, and we're back. So cross your fingers, false alarm. So I thoroughly removed this and thoroughly cleaned this out with some like window cleaner. And yeah, you can see super clear now. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It looks like it was just residual. Whether it was from like the valve cover juice like dripping down when I was doing the valve covers, or like residual because I lubricate the inside of the seals. I don't know what it is, but you know, knock on wood, it's dry. I super cleaned it, wrung it out on the regular road test, same distance as I did the first road test on. Yeah, it's dry, so knock on wood, but I mean, yeah, Corolla stuff, you know, you can only try your best. I'll try to dig in Phil's Instagram, but classic FGK header, and the story is, when Phil got this header, he couldn't find a FGK stamp, and he was like, what the hell? Well, ends up, if we zoom, yeah, right there. So Run Free Hiroshi told him that that ear looking thing is actually the old Fuji Speedway, and these classic FGK headers had that Fuji Speedway stamp, no FGK stamp on them. So yeah. And then Phil got these ceramic coated locally. Yeah, really tricky ARC box. Man, I think Abbey Road Company went out of business a while ago, but man, such an iconic piece. Really interesting too, 1985, but you can tell this is actually a Koki brake master and brake booster, because you can see the mounting is sideways. Koki, JDM brake master and brake booster have to be as a pair. The Zenki ones are like, the mountings are like USDM. And yeah, Fun fact, if you have a JDM car, you can use a JDM Zenki car, you can use a USDM booster because both the mountings are like horizontal like that. But yeah, the Koki Brake Master actually has a bigger bore, so I imagine, you know, if this was a RS Yasu built engine, they went for the bigger bore for a bit like a firmer brake pedal feel. So yeah, why don't we take a look under the car? Not only taking a look, but I still gotta put this guy on, which is also in excellent shape. We got a guest outside. You know, there's been a joke in the building that so many like JDM cars come through here, but yeah, we'll take a sneak peek at this guest outside. All right. We did a review on that Q's S13 Silvia, so yeah, I'll link that in the description below. So yeah, let's stop wasting time and lift this thing up. All right, and we're back. You can see new car behind me. So between filming this, my typical day, gotta switch between like 5 different tasks and 5 different people at the same time. So, all right, cool. Let's take a look. So, I imagine RS Yasu painted this because OEM, this is black. And fun fact, Japanese cars did not come factory with an oil cooler. If you notice something's missing, right? And then same thing, Japanese oil pan plus SR5 oil pan. You can tell because there's no provision for the oil cooler return. Pretty cool, this thing still got AC too. And then non-power steering, or I should say manual rack AC bracket. Yeah, some more work we did. You can see the flex portion of this FGK header. Mr. Runfree Hiroshi told Phil that it's important to brace these up because otherwise the header is going to crack. So Phil requested of me to actually build a brace. So you can see I custom made this guy. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but so right up against the engine block and then hard mounted to the FGK header. What, Stephanie? What? All right, like I said, one more interruption, but this time got the dog. So yeah, got the custom brace in there for the exhaust. Last year, I rebuilt this T50 for Phil, so this should be a complete rebuild plus an M Factory fit. This was back then, I had a little more time, so all my rebuilds, I glass bead blasted all the cases. So yeah, you can see how smooth these guys are. Some JDM YZ Sport shocks. Yep, YZ Sport springs to match. I was laughing, apparently in May 4th, 2017, Jesus Christ himself did the diff service on this. Another thing, last year, Phil came because the axle seal was leaking. If you guys put in axles before, you know that at a certain point it gets hard to put in and you gotta get your dead blow and hit the wheel bearing all the way in to be a friction fit inside. So the problem which I discovered on this visit is no longer friction fit. You know, if you can imagine if that if the ID of that axle tube is worn and then this wheel keeps doing this, it's just gonna keep taking more and more material out of that axle tube. There's a lot of extreme repairs like taking the axle tube out, machining the ID and putting in a sleeve. I've heard of machining a groove and putting a circlip in there so that the bearing can't move anymore. I always like to try the most least invasive repair first. Sleeve retaining compound, it's green, but there's many green Loctites, and it basically takes up some gap between two things that are either press fit or used to be press fit and now it's worn. The OD of the wheel bearing and then the ID of the axle tube where the wheel bearing sits, I cleaned up really well, and then I used the sleeve retaining compound on the OD of the wheel bearing itself. So yeah, least invasive repair, and then we're using that bearing retainer compound as designed, right? Typical week at the Autohaus. There's actually still another Corolla outside. This is the 4AG. This is the 4AG that we're rebuilding and pretty much doing like a full restoration to the car outside with like no glass and no interior. So, you know, at some point I'll cover that car. But yeah, plenty of work to do. You can see my big whiteboard back there. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I do Autohaus in the daytime and then work annex through the night into the early morning. So yeah, gotta get back to work for NX. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We got a Patreon too if you would like to, you know, support me. Hopefully, I'm hoping that I can get enough monetary support that I can start the podcast again. Because I mean, just to reiterate, the shop doubled in size, and my rent more than doubled, my rent and expenses. So yeah, that's the reason for the podcast hiatus. But yeah, man, I really appreciate all the support from you guys. Doing my best for one video a week, so I'm trying to, yeah, it's tough for me to pick up the camera, but yeah, really trying to do one video a week for you guys. So yeah, appreciate it. Take care. Next time. See you next time.